Right, yes. Welcome to our first episode of Unseen Shift. My name is Jamal, and I'm here with my brethren, my brother man, Nathaniel. How you doing, man? You good?
I'm good. What you saying, bro?
Yeah, decent, man. Decent journey down.
Bit of traffic, but you know,
Yeah.
typical London, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. Well, look, obviously, got a lot to get into today. Excited, to be fair. First episode. You know, we've been in the works for, I want to say, like 6 months, 5 months.
Good 6 months. The idea came before. No?
Yeah. So a couple years, but we said kind of put stuff into action 6 months. So, but yeah, finally good to be here. You know, and a lot to talk about. But yeah, obviously, I mean, you can go first. Introduce yourself. Tell the camera what you want to tell them.
Hey guys.
So, in terms of relevance to the podcast, like, how would you say that is relevant to the podcast? So, in terms of what you want to do and what you're bringing to this podcast, or what we're bringing to this podcast.
Yeah. I think obviously unseen shifts. I think what we see on social media is a lot of extremes. We obviously people who are on that end of the spectrum where they're, you know, on nonsense. Let's just say, or you see the extreme end, like, you know, we don't want to name names, but we know the red pill community, etc., who perceive themselves to be a certain way. Both extremes perceive themselves to be a certain way, but no one ever talks about the grey area in between. No one ever talks about the journey to get to those positions. You're happy to showcase the Ferrari, not how you got it though. Not if it's a rental, not if it's a loan. You're happy to showcase the Ferrari, but you're not happy to showcase the years, the journey, the trials, the tribulations, the tears, especially for us men. We don't see that.
Talk to them.
So I think with both of us, especially where we're coming from a point of getting to a certain point in life and where we want to be at this age, I don't feel we have a lot of representation of people that talk about the actual struggles along the way.
Especially for our age as well. I feel like people who are kind of where they are today, like, it's very hard to find something relative to people within our community or within our upbringing. You know what I mean? And that's not even from a race kind of thing, not just that, but more of a thing of, obviously, you know, we come from Luton. So if you know Luton, then you know Luton. But obviously Luton is one of them parts where it's kind of like, it's not the most well-off places, but I wouldn't say it's like a war zone. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, but it's not the most positive place to be.
100%.
Put it that way. So obviously coming from Luton, it's kind of small town, and I feel like people who are of that upbringing, there's not really a lot of people you can look back off and be like, okay, like, that's something to go off, you know. Or even if they have, it's kind of like maybe a rapper or a music artist. It's kind of not anything to do with business or entrepreneur, or, you know what I mean. So I feel like it's really important, especially for people our age, you know, us both being 21. I feel like it is important to kind of have the belief in yourself that you can do it, but also finding instances where it's like, damn, like, this is actually possible. Because I think that's the hardest thing, man. Like, looking at other people or looking at examples of it can actually be done, especially from where you are. Because when you start from -1, -2, and you've got other people starting at level 3, it's hard, man. It's hard.
And in those situations as well, sorry to cut in, when you are seeing those guys constantly who are already at level 10, for example, you're now going to start thinking, I need to be at level 10. But you're not looking at the fact that you're right now at -1. You're seeing yourself already at that point, and you're comparing yourself to being against someone who started off from wherever they started off from. But the fact is, they're at level 10. You ain't there yet, bro. And you don't know how they got to that level.
Not to mention the time as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's a thing where, especially nowadays with social media and everything that you're seeing around you that's all digitalized now, it's very easy to escape that mindset. You know, when's the last time you went out for like a walk, for example, just to clear your head? More often than not, you're on your phone, flicking through. So it's like there's no escape from it.
Yeah.
And there's not enough people speaking up to say, hold on a sec, that's their reality, but your reality is this. What can you do in relation to your reality?
That's what I'm talking about, man. Like, I feel like it's like, even with me, obviously, as you know, I do a basketball camp, and I feel like it took me a long time to realize, like, you got to draw up what you have and what you have to bring to the table, because like it's I feel like it's difficult, because in a world where it's so easy to learn so many new skills, it's so easy to be like, oh, I want to do this, I want to YouTube that, I want to buy this course, but I feel like ultimately within that you have to look within yourself to be like, okay, what am I actually interested in, what am I genuine about? And I feel like me personally going on that path of chasing something a bit more genuine and a bit more something I can look back and be like, I built that because I wanted to build that, not built that because that's where the money was, you know.
100%.
And I feel like
100%.
it's hard though, because we live in a day and age where it's like, again, you can pick up so many different skills that can make you money different ways, but I know a lot of people where they're doing these things but they're not necessarily happy with like what they're doing, you know what I mean? So I do feel it's difficult, but obviously I wanted to ask you a question, like, in terms of the relevance to the name Unseen Shift, how link that in now, like how, because props to you thought of it, so you can, how does that link in?
Again, sort of coming back to what I was saying earlier. First of all, unseen is obviously, that speaks for itself. It's what's unseen. It's those moments where, you know, the doors are shut, no one else is in that room with you, and it's in those moments where it's just you and your thoughts, your ambitions, your goals, and everything. It's no one else's input. Those are the moments that we want to talk about. It's in those times where you're finding that tough moment, where you're finding that, you know, that those times that are stressful. And I think we need to, instead of ignoring that, brushing it under the carpet, acting like that doesn't happen, and then showcasing the good, we want to showcase that side as well. So people who are in those spaces, because we've been in those spaces, I'm still in that space right now, and I feel like it needs to be talked about a lot more than it already is, rather than glamorizing this lifestyle that for some people, unfortunately, it's not going to be attainable, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because there's other things that do need to align, i.e. your network, opportunities, etc., etc. So rather than glamorizing that, we also want to just shed some light on the things that don't get spoken about, the things that aren't seen, hence why the unseen. So in terms of how that links to a shift now, is because we're now shifting the perspective of young people like us, even the older gen as well. I'm sure that they can draw some inspiration from this, because yes, their time was different, but social media is everywhere now. It's affecting everyone. It's in the workplace, you know, it's in business, it's at schools, you know, wherever it is, social media is everywhere. So it can't be escaped. So with us, we want to work to shift that perspective from, you know, the two extremes. You're either a red pill or you're a nonsense kind of thing, to now being, there are people in between, just like you and I, who are also going through the same struggles, who are going through the same stresses. And I think right here, what we need to build is that space where that stuff's normalized. It's normal to talk about it, but it's also very, very normal to go through that. And, you know, there's a quote that says, failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of it. And I think people do often mix up the two, and they see them as polar opposites, but they're not. part of that success is failing, but it's learning from those failures and getting back. So I think for me, one of the biggest problems was I saw failure as the end of. I saw it as, if I failed at something, I need to give up and then try something else now. Until I fail at that and then try something else. But what you need to understand, that in doing that, you're missing those lessons. Because you're always jumping to the next opportunity.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just about shifting that narrative, man, and shining the light on what isn't spoken about enough. Whether it's within our community, whether it's in people as a whole, society as a whole, it's not spoken about enough, man. So
Nah, I hear you, man. Nah, it's, and you know, like I said, credit to you for obviously coming up with a name.
Appreciate it.
And I feel like it's also important to shed light on, like, this isn't like a, you know, you need to be this entrepreneur. Like, I feel like what comes with this is also an understanding of people, you know, being fulfilled in your life is subjective. You know what I mean?
100%.
I feel like
100%.
fulfillment in your life is kind of a thing where you can be fulfilled by being a manager of McDonald's. And it's like, if that's what you want to go out and get, all respect to you, you know what I mean? But this is for kind of the people who are in our situation, because we ain't made it by any
100%.
by a long stretch. We have not made it yet. But it is a thing where opening a kind of space to people where they do have the kind of dreams of owning a business, or they do have the kind of dreams of making a name for themselves, or creating a legacy, or having a real impact within their community type of thing. And I feel like, again, when you come from especially like a town, or you know, a city that is just kind of very busy, or there's not enough opportunity, you know, having said that, I feel like you can find an excuse everywhere you go, realistically, you know. But I feel like that's also why it's important to kind of draw up what you have within yourself and what you have to use externally and utilize that. And I feel like, again, it's just shedding light on just that whole fact of, not only is it possible, but there's like so much more people out there like that, who are in that middle stage of, like, they're working towards that business, they're working towards having an impact in the community, and they're not there yet, but like they're not at the start, but it's like that little no man's land bit. And I feel like a lot of people are there, like I said, you know, opening the floor to them and space to them and letting them know that they're not alone is important, man.
100%. And you know, I like to, you know me, I like to use the Kanye West graduation
album and a half.
You know, it's like there's a track on there, if you guys don't know, I Wonder, and it's like when you're at the I Wonder phase, you know, if you sort of picture yourself looking in the horizon, and it's like, if only I was there, if only I was on the other side. And those are the people that we want to reach out to, who are at that similar phase, because it's only now where I can honestly say I'm starting to sort of shift out of it. I'm still sort of there though. I'm still within that realm. I'll be completely honest with you. But I think it's also about being true to yourself, and like you said, it's very relative happiness at the end of the day, and what you see success as, right, and how you define it is very relevant to you as an individual. So I think for me, it is one of those ones where you do have to look at where it is you want to be, not where you see yourself versus against someone else.
Total.
If you see what I'm saying, it's you. Where do you want to be? And I think, again, across social media, when you're seeing certain people and certain lifestyles, you know, who sell courses, for example, those guys are talking about their lifestyle, and they're imposing their lifestyle onto you. So insecure guys, especially the younger generation as well, they're very, very susceptible to that, because they're going to see that and think, oh wow, that guy's a man, I need to be like him. And then now they're putting themselves under immense pressure at young ages to then be at that stage. But that's not even relevant to them.
That's how you get caught up in stuff, man. That's how you get caught up in stuff. And I feel like you said, when a young person is so impressionable
100%.
to kind of the people that are around them. You know, it's so easy for a young person to see a fast car and be like, how did they get that? And it's like, and look, this isn't me going into guru, money don't matter, you know, like it's like we all know it matters. But I think in a way of like knowing that within yourself, you're different to everybody else. Your journey isn't the same as the social media guy you saw last week or your next door neighbor. Is completely different. It's subject to you. And I feel like a lot of guys or a lot of people will think that, okay, by 18, you know, I have to be making X amount. I've got to be making six figures. And it's not even me saying that it's impossible. You can't do that. Again, you know, it's more of a thing of me saying you've got to have that, not only patience, but the faith in yourself. That as long as you're working as hard as you're working, as long as you're doing what you can, you can't rush things. You can't rush things. Because the thing that, how many times, you know, the thing that you're working towards isn't even your final destination. The thing that you're working towards is leading you to the thing that you're supposed to be working on to the thing that you're supposed to be working on to. And it's all part of that journey. And I feel like, again, young people will kind of, I say young people, I'm not young, but, you know, especially like teenagers who are so easily influenced and got that kind of attention span of 5 seconds and scrolling, and they see something like that, it's very impressionable. So yeah, I think it's not a thing of kind of, I think it's more of the perception of it, of the idea that they're getting from it, rather than the content that they're actually viewing, if that makes sense.
You know what it is, yeah? I'll give you an example. Obviously, I'm not going to name any names, but my little brother, he has a friend, right? And these guys are quite young, yeah? They're already on the mindset of making it out, you know, ambition, which is absolutely great, you know, and for me as an older brother, to see my little brother like that, you know, I'm proud. I'm proud. But where do you feel like the line is between enjoying your youth, right? Enjoying the present, whilst also balancing against your ambitions? Where would you draw the line? Whether that's an age thing, whether it's an education thing, where do you draw the line?
I think first off, I think you see at high school no matter what. I know there's instances of your high school dropouts and whatnot, but you have to see at high school. That's number one. Like you've got to prioritize that as much as you can, because that's the fundamental. That's the, not even just the education, but the things that it teaches you along with it.
100%. It's a training ground.
It's a training ground. And this 100%. Is what I'm saying, man. Like when you're in a position where you're 14 years old and you're entering double science for like the 100th time, you're not thinking about that, bro. 100. You're thinking, I'm trying to get out of this, bro. So it's one of them ones where when you look back and you're like, okay, like this is what that taught me. And it's funny because it's not even like I said, just about the education. It's about the experience with it all. Whether it be the social skills, the emotional intelligence, like everything. So I feel that's number one. That's point number one. I think also it's a thing where it depends how bad you want it. I think it depends how bad you want it, and it also depends how realistic it is.
100%.
And I think I actually saw something on Dragon's Den, and there was a kid who was in high school who had like a donut shop, and he had to wake up at like 5 o'clock to get the ingredients, make the donuts by like 7, go to school, finish all his homework in recess, And I feel like, again, it's not me saying that's impossible, but you can't then go and look at that and be like, that's the expectation. You know what I mean? You have to be realistic to yourself. You know, if you feel like you're behind on homework, don't prioritize other things to again not go and do that. Because like I said, I feel like high school is such a big priority.
Being realistic with it as well. You know, obviously, you know, SMART goals, right?
Yeah.
you know, the R in that is having realistic targets at the end of the day. And I think, especially from what I've seen, right, from having a little brother, so I see sort of what's going on with that generation at the moment. And for me, it's quite concerning, really, that from the consensus that I've got from him, is they're not looking at the now. They're not looking at the reality of now. They're just looking at where they want to get to. And I don't want to, you know, pour any water on that. Obviously, you've got to foster that flame, you know, keep it going. But at the same time, we have to look at the reality of the situation. You know, you can't be 15, 16 and, you know, you're talking about your services costing 20 grand, for example.
Yeah.
You know, as much as it's great to have that mentality, you know, it's, you know, shoot for the stars. If you miss your, you know, we get that, but at the same time, we have to look at what's realistic. You know, at 15, 16, what skills are you gonna have where you're gonna be charging 20 grand for your services? And I think that's the main thing at that age. Part of the focus needs to be investing as much as possible, and it starts with yourself. You know, and that can be literally doing online courses, for example. That can be public speaking. That can be getting out of your comfort zone as much as you can at that age.
Yeah.
And getting used to that, taking risks, calculated risks.
Yeah.
That is. And I think, again, coming back to the pod and coming back to the name, I think a lot of those youngsters are building that perception up off of seeing that extreme. And they're just seeing the end goal. They're seeing the Ferraris, the Rolexes, that lifestyle, the lavish lifestyle, and they're not looking at the road and everything it takes to get to that point.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting one.
So
it is an interesting one.
So with you now, like, okay, so you're 14-year-old Nathaniel, yeah. Obviously, me and you went to the same high school. Can I shout out high school? You think that's okay? Or not really? what
I reckon you could.
Yeah?
I'm not there no more.
Shout out Chalk Hills, man. shout out Chalk Hills. Shout out to everyone who went to Chalk Hills, man. Like you said, it was a training ground, 100%. Obviously, I went Leland's before. Year 7 to year 8 and move year 8 into there. But obviously, we met pretty much straight off the dome. I'll be real.
It felt like your first day.
More or less, because I remember you. I remember you in French.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you in French still. But obviously, going back to the point, talk about a little about 14-year-old Nathaniel and kind of how he's grown into the mindset that he's got in today. Because, like you said, I feel like there's a big push, not even a big push, but a big exposure to people who are up here and has made it through kind of not working hard but working smart. So whereas back in, you know, when we went to high school, I wouldn't really say that was a thing. Like, I really wouldn't. So yeah, talk about obviously the different dynamic of, you know, growing up in high school around that time and how you kind of became the person that you are today.
Man, it's not even that long ago, but it feels
feels like ages, man.
It's just because of everything that's happened in between.
1,000,000%.
It's wow. To be completely honest with you, 14. So what's that? Year 9 ish.
I was still playing with Lego. I ain't gonna hold you.
Okay, I wouldn't say that.
I ain't gonna. I'm keeping a buck.
I wouldn't say, not that I don't appreciate Lego, but I wouldn't say that. It was more brawlhalla them days.
Man, come on, man. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it was more brawlhalla them days.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like, the mindset that I have now, there's no correlation.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, there is absolutely no correlation.
When was the last time you played?
Oh, years.
Yeah.
Years. No, actually, I'm being silly. At your birthday.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But obviously that was just like a little throwback joke thing.
Yeah. For those who don't know, it's PlayStation game, like, just to put into perspective.
Free to play.
Yeah,
Similar
yeah,
to was it Super Smash? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. For me, I would love to say, like, I've always had it. I always knew that it was in me.
Yeah, real talk.
Like, but that is not true.
Yeah.
That is not true. Like, obviously and I'm sure you can obviously vouch for this as well, I was never one to mess around. You know, I wasn't...
You were straight.
You know, I wasn't someone who bunked class.
Yeah.
I wasn't someone who even done bad in school. You know, if anything, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
But I think where things started to shift for me is the ages of 17, 18. You know, when I started to really deep, okay, because I never went to uni. I never wanted to go to uni. That's the one thing that I said. I said, I absolutely do not want to go from year 7. I said that. I don't
Why?
want to go. That's a very good question. That is a very good question. I think because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, to be honest. And I did have my head screwed on enough to know that if I did go to university, having the mindset that I did at the time, I probably would have wasted my time. Probably, most likely. Not in the sense that I would have been getting drunk, but it would have just been a waste of my potential. Obviously, I didn't see that at the time. I just saw it as, you know, I know what university is like from what I've heard. It's a lot of nonsense, etc., etc.
Yeah.
And I know for myself, going down that road probably wouldn't have been the best, because I definitely would have wasted it. And for me, when you align that with not really knowing where you want to go, okay, if we look at this logically now, you're sort of then going to get swayed into whatever sort of comes your way at that point. And in uni, that could be anything, if you see what I mean.
I think, sorry to cut you off, but I feel like I genuinely feel like that. 40, I would say 40% of people go to uni for the vibe.
100%.
I genuinely feel that.
100%.
And similar to you, me not going to uni.
I say more than that, actually.
I was gonna, but I didn't wanna. I was gonna. But it's one of them ones where I feel like, even though, like, for me it's a no-brainer. Like, I went to uni, but I knew straight away it wasn't applicable to what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Like, I could, and I say to people who I speak with, it's like, if you don't have to go to uni, don't go to uni.
Yeah.
And that, if you need to go to uni, shout out to you, get it done. Even went to a graduation, was it last week's Friday?
Friday, yeah.
Last week Friday. Congrats to my boy, Mr. Lake. Congrats to you. But yeah, it's one of them ones where he had to go to uni to, you know, have the journey of becoming a lawyer. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I don't... Yeah, but anyways, yeah.
For me, like I said, yeah, it is... I sort of knew. One thing that I will say is, although I didn't necessarily have the ambitious mind, I was quite headstrong from young. To be fair, I sort of knew, okay, I don't really want to be in that space because that could happen, and you sort of got to develop that sort of mindset. Especially when you come from the ends as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
Upbringing and the ends. You know, you sort of have to be smart. You have to move smart.
You got it, man.
Otherwise,
it's long. It's long. You're
your
finished,
life
bro.
could easily, quickly take a turn.
That's what I'm saying.
And it's very hard to come back from that. So you do have to have an element of being headstrong. But I think as well, like you were saying with the upbringing, when you do have stricter but fair parents, it's good. I don't know if it's the same with you, but you know, my dad has been very, very pivotal in my life. Right, I know it's your mum and yours. But one thing that I can say is that he wasn't strict, but he was fair. He was fair. So for me, like, because I knew this is not what I want to do. I don't want to go down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go into that space where I'm jumping from here to there to there. I knew, okay, uni would be an absolute shock for me. And do I want to expose myself to that, or would I rather spend those 3 years finding myself, if that makes sense? And for me, I just chose the road early. This is like my perception early, obviously not now, but back then it was, do I want to expose myself to that, or do I want to take the chance? And I chose to take the chance. Do I regret it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But yeah, for me, and on those, you know, at that point in life, I was very, very headstrong, sort of knew that I wanted to do well in school, and that was my goal, to be fair. And even after, like, my little brother asked me, yeah, so what did you want to do at 16?
I was just about to say, I was just about to ask.
And I said to him, the reality was, my first thing was learning how to drive, bro.
Yeah.
That was the goal.
You were the first out of everybody.
That was the goal.
Everybody I knew who was driving, like, you were driving quick.
As soon as I was 17.
Literally.
As soon as I was 17.
And I rate it, to be fair. And I feel like with you, it was a thing where, similar to my sister, to be fair, because she's got the grades, and similar to you, you had the grades. You're a smart model student, but you didn't know what you wanted to do. And I feel like you put yourself in a position where, at least, even though you didn't know what you wanted to do, at least you could do most things if you wanted to.
The options were open.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's important to note, because I feel like there's a huge difference with you not knowing what you want to do because you really can't. Like, you ain't got a bag. And that's what I'm saying about high school, man, because like I said, you know, you go into science and you're learning about gas exchange and you're like, bro, I don't need this to become a football coach. I don't need this. Like, but realistically, you need it. You do need it. And I feel like it takes you a while after high school to be like, you know what, low key, you know, it is important. It is 100%. Important. And even for me, you know, obviously meeting yourself and 4-5 others who, you know, we're pretty much locked in. It's kind of a thing where not only that, but again, it just teaches you a whole lot about other people, how to interact, you know, everything of that sort. But yeah, man, it was definitely an interesting time. It was. Obviously, moving on. So you didn't go to uni, but you went sixth form, didn't you?
I went to sixth form.
And how was that?
Terrible experience. Terrible time. I think as well, because obviously we moved away from Luton at that point. So now having to go to sixth form now, so your age is 16, 17, 18, being in a completely different area. Bearing in mind, one of the good things with Luton, that people don't really talk about enough, is how multicultural it is. So we grew up with people from that part of the world, that background. So
that's the best thing about Luton, to be fair.
Exactly. So you're quite, you know, in terms of people interacting with people, it's not a problem, because I understand, you know, we grew up with guys who are from Bangladesh, for example,
literally,
or, you know, from Pakistan, from India, etc., from the Philippines, from Africa. So it's like, you do have that to your game, if that makes sense. And it was crazy to see, and it wasn't, you know, it's not miles away where we moved to, but that difference in community, that hit me a lot. Because I was so used to, in Luton, you know, you can go speak to that person, you know, they're not necessarily going to give you the shoulder kind of thing. Like, they'll talk, and if they like you, they like you. If they don't, they don't. You don't talk again. But in this place,
boy,
everyone to themselves.
Really?
So I went there, being that guy from Luton who's used to speaking to everyone, used to being cool with everyone, to like, wow, this is a culture shock. It's a culture shock here. So it was a thing where, in terms of the grades and that, boy.
What did you do? Well, what did you do?
So I done maths, physics, and statistics.
And with that in your mind, what were you planning on doing?
I don't know if you remember, but I, in year 10, developed this thing where I forced myself into liking physics.
Yeah.
I used to walk around school
I love physics.
saying I love physics.
Yeah. You know what? You did a good job because it was genuine. I genuinely thought...
No, and that's the thing. I had to convince other people before I started to then convince myself that I actually love it. And it got to the point where, you know what? Come the middle of year 10, I actually started loving physics.
Yeah.
So it's from there. That was the mindset I wanted to. If there was any option, like you're saying, if I did have the choice, I wanted to go down that route. It was either that or PE. So for me, I was like, okay, out of the two, PE is a bit more of a long term. I've got to really be dedicated.
You do.
I probably, that dedication wasn't there.
Yeah.
So physics was the next choice. So for me, it was, if I get through this, because I wasn't positive at all. It was just, if I get through, if I do go to uni, physics is the way forward.
Wow. Fair play.
So that was the mindset. But, boy, if you're in sixth form right now and you were like me, that's where I started to think, where the hell am I going in life? Because I'm not enjoying this. It made me fall out of love with the academic side of things. And I'm not just talking about, the community. Obviously we had COVID as well, which affected our social lives at that point. Everyone was sort of in and out. You got to wear the mask, so there wasn't a lot of interaction. And it did make me realise that part of that enjoyment that I had of school was you, man, essentially. Like, it was just a man them. And I think I didn't have it that bad at school until I went to sixth form. And I saw, right, like, this is crazy. And to be honest with you as well, getting a bit personal, school was a distraction. School was a distraction from certain things that was going on at the time.
Obviously subject to your life.
Yeah. Of course.
Yeah.
For me, it was a distraction. So it was nice to sort of be in that space where you're around people that you get on with and whatnot. To then get to sixth form now, and it's like, wow, like, everything's just on the floor. So for me, that's what sparked the, where do I need to be? What do I want to do? Because I can't go to uni now. Absolutely not. Like, if it's anything like this, I don't want it. I absolutely don't want it. And that was like a taster, because it was very much, it wasn't like a college or a sixth form in a school. It was a separate sixth form. So it was very uni-like, in the sense of you just arrive to your lectures and then you just go. Okay. So it was very much on you to be in the library, to study. That wasn't necessarily a problem. But I think because I lacked the drive for school, the grades just, they dropped drastically. I hear you. I think, and again, it's not a thing of uni is useless type of thing, but it is just a, like, could you imagine if you actually went on to go to uni even if you didn't want to? And I think that's where I was, I'll be real. But with me, it's one of them ones where I study sports coaching in conjunction with Watford Football Club. Went to Middlesex Uni. I'll be real, I want to say shout out some people there, but I'll be real, I hate everyone there. Hate's a strong word.
It is. I disliked a lot of people. I ain't gonna hold you. Like, I was quiet, because obviously you know me. Like, I'm a loud guy. I'm very
understatement.
I can get quite boisterous when the time is right. When the time is right, you know what I mean. Or when I'm passionate about something. But I used to go there. I used to talk to no one, man, because it was like, went in the class, the vibe, it just wasn't the same, and I feel like my expectations were so high
100%.
from high school and college. Because college, I went to college, got my level 3 in personal training, and my class was calm. Like I can't say I've met any for lifers. Talk to people here and there, but I was like, you know what? It was good. It was a good experience. Good people. I feel like with uni, it was just a bunch of people who were just vibe checking, bro. I'll be honest. And it was like, for me to go in a shell like that, it was kind of crazy.
Did you feel like you was losing yourself?
I thought I was losing myself anyway because I was burning myself out because of working 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I was, bro.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, man.
What was that like? Explain to me what that was like.
Bro.
Balancing that and uni
Bro.
at the time as well. Because you had a restaurant.
I had the restaurant. I had PE teaching.
The PE teaching as
3
well.
days a week. So restaurant 4 days a week. PE teaching 3 days a week. I had uni 3 days a week. And I had helping my cousin at his market.
At the markets, yeah.
Shout out my cousin in London, Kilburn. Shout out them. In the market. So yeah, technically that's 4 things, 3 jobs. It was one of them ones. So every time I went on public transport, I couldn't stay away because I was that tired.
Yeah.
Genuinely, and I feel like for me, this was obviously, if I'm in uni now, I was 18 because it took me 2 years to finish my college.
Yeah.
So yeah, 18 to 19. I'm 21 now, so it has not been that long. It has about three years. And I feel like for me, it was like, okay, final destination in my head. Like, I'm gonna get there. Once I finish all of this, I can quit my restaurant job. You know, I'll have my qualification. I'll be throwing up my little pretty hat in the air at graduation, all of that stuff. And I think what really, really kind of affected me is because I wasn't enjoying uni. Like, the course that I was doing, I have to take some accountability because I definitely could have tried harder. But that course was stinky. That course was stinky. And that's not a disrespect to the uni in itself. But the course that I was doing was so disorganized. And it wasn't even the thing of the teachers being bad. It was just the organization of it. Like, it wasn't very good. So for me, that didn't motivate me in any way, shape or form. Because I'm already waking up at 1 o'clock. Bear in mind, I live in Luton. So I got a bus train to get to Luton, to get to Hendon. That's like 40 minutes. To then get to uni. Sometimes I get there and I only had the uni for an hour and a half. That's like not even the same amount of time as me walking and the train. So my actual journey is longer than I've been in uni. Then I got to dip home, go to the restaurant. And then the days that I don't have uni, I've got to PE teach, do the work experience. I ain't getting paid, mind you. I ain't getting paid. It's one of them ones.
I had to throw that in.
Listen, I have to, because it's one of them ones where I was working my booty off. But I tell you what, it's one of them ones where I made the choice to be like, you know what, uni wasn't for me. I'm paying $9.5 grand for something that is making me lose my passion, is making me slowly crumble. And I'd rather just do something I actually like. And that's what I was talking about at the start. Doing something that you actually not just like, but you're genuine about. Because you can tell the difference between people who are genuine about helping someone. You can help someone, but it don't have to be genuine. I could cook you a meal right now. It don't have to be genuine.
100%.
But I feel like it's when it comes to that, I feel like it's really important to have that genuineness. And I was losing that because every time I'm going into this room and learning in 4 walls, I'm like, I don't like this. And because it's linked to what I want to do, it's just making me be like, is it even worth it? So, obviously, I dropped out my first year. And it was a choice that I had to make because I couldn't sustain it. I couldn't drop the restaurant because I needed money. I didn't want to drop PE teaching because I loved it, even though it was for free, and I wanted to help my family because that's family. So me being myself, uni was more of a me thing, and when I dropped it, there was a lot of talk. Obviously, when you're a dropout, it isn't good.
Did you feel pressure from getting into uni in the first place?
100%. Bearing in mind, I was so disorganized. I'll be real. I only picked one option for my uni. I only did one option. Normally, you pick around 5. I did one, and I was like, I just want to go to this place. If I don't get in, I'm not going to uni. Got in, and my mom was like, da. And it was more of a thing of nobody. I don't think anyone in my family has fully completed uni, and it was like this kind of big.
You've got to be like the golden child.
That's what I'm saying.
The golden child.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Exactly that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't. So obviously moving on to things, it was like, it was difficult. It was a difficult decision. Initially the support wasn't massive. The response wasn't positive. But in the end, carried on working a restaurant job, kept on going, work experience as a PE teacher, and they offered me a job. And I was like, that's what I feel like what happens when you follow what you want to do. And if you stick by it and you follow that genuineness, it goes a long way, man. It genuinely goes a long way. But that's my experience of uni. And like I said, it's not me slacking off uni. It's just a thing of, if you don't need to go, don't pay 18 grand just for the vibe. Like, don't do it. But that's my opinion personally. But everyone's different, you know what I mean?